Well, now, it must be Wednesday night.
Yes, it is.
Hey, we had a lot of nonsense going on last Wednesday, and we thought we were going to get a better outcome.
Yeah. We didn't.
No.
We did not. We did not. But anyway, welcome Wednesday night, October. Can you guys believe it's October 16th already?
It's crazy.
It is. The year's flying by.
Yep.
Mhm.
Has everybody figured out their over-under on candy for Halloween?
In regards to what? Like, what's my favorite, or how many kids are going to be at my door?
Well, let's go with how many kids are going to be at your door.
Well, last year we had just bought this house, so we made it a point to be here because we thought like that would be a nice like neighborly thing to do. And what did we see? Like 30 kids, maybe?
Maybe.
Wow.
And I thought,
Yeah.
like, we live in a pretty, like, populated development. So I thought for certain we were going to get slammed. And we didn't.
Nope. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe kids don't.
I
don't
think
know.
there's a lot of those trunk or treats now that kids go
Right,
to.
yes.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many actual people go out on Halloween night, which is so lame.
Well, listen, you see the
I'm not into that.
You see the kids come into the store. They got fat wads of cash. They can buy their own candy. You know what I mean? They don't want to go out.
It's a lot of work for a Twix
Yeah.
bar.
Yeah, they don't. They're not into it. And then not that it wasn't cold or warm last year. It was seasonably, just like it is now. So
Right.
they said, you know what? I'd rather just buy my own candy and sit at home.
That's so lame.
I know it's very lame, but that's what the kids do.
Yeah, there was a video. I don't know if you guys saw it. A guy was walking around, and his wife was beating him with a noodle, as a one of those pool noodles, as a pinata. So like he was dressed up like a pinata, and she would hit him, and he would throw candy up, and and all the kids would start running over to him. So that was kind of cool.
That's funny.
Yeah. But
Okay.
I always plan for like 1,000.
Huh?
Wow.
I plan for 1,000, but we only get like 25 or 30. But that just leaves a lot of extra candy for me. So
Gotcha. All right, I see where you went.
exactly.
Joe Stinger's freezing his pineapples off in sunny, chilly Florida, 66 degrees.
Wow.
Well, we're gonna have 36 degrees in the morning.
I feel bad for you there, Joe.
It's gonna be chilly.
That was the high, I think, here today.
Yeah, it was a little chilly. Little chilly. But anyway, welcome everybody. If you missed last week's show, you missed a classic because we were four crazy people all over the place. I don't think we agreed on any one particular thing, and nothing happened that we wanted to happen, and we're just totally starstruck by the Phillies letting us down again. So
yeah, but you kind of felt it coming in that moment, didn't you? Did you not? We didn't want to think that way, but
I didn't, and I did, and yeah, I mean, my neck is so sore from just shaking and not realizing what just happened, and but anyway, we'll jump back into this segment. We got off a little early. I know Johnny's itching to do his fantasy thing, and now that he's got all these fantasy groups and everybody's just so excited. So Johnny, why don't you take it away and make it quick, okay? Because we got sports to talk about.
Oh yeah, we got lots of sports. We got all of them covered today. But fantasy football we got going on. Again, the hosts are winning, which is the important thing. We got 1,158 points for us, and the viewers have 996. So we are kicking some butt there.
Look at this, Jen O'Brien running away with it again.
Yeah, I know.
Look at Joe Stinger jumped up.
Joe Stinger's up there. Yep.
Huh? Look at this.
Yep. Joe Stinger's happy about that one. Randy Bachman, senior there in fifth spot. He's top of the roost in his family. So
Okay.
he's happy about that one. And then we got our fantasy hockey going, which is new. We got that one going. We have our first week of leaderboards there.
Yep. Ozick is a sleeper. Well, I don't know what that means, but okay.
Yeah, he keeps thinking he's a sleeper.
Okay.
So yeah, we got
What?
yep, we got myself at the top there with Kevin Burgess in second. Tony, the UPS guy, he's in third, and Jack Broder, he's in fourth there, and Johnny Mann is in fifth. So
Wait a minute. They said Robert is a sleeper. Where the hell is he?
He's a sleeper. What's he? He's in the football one. Is he on the? Yeah, he's over here at the 13th spot right at the moment. So yeah.
Well, tell him to wake up because he's really sleeping in that case.
Oh yeah, exactly. He said it was. I asked him to play earlier in the time, and he's like, it's gonna be boring. I'll be at the top of the leaderboard every week, and I'm like, well, he hasn't sniffed the top of the leaderboard yet. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. And then we're fantasy basketball. We got that going, and we got 36 people in the fantasy basketball right now. So we are that's growing right now.
What's the cutoff on that?
Sunday. Sunday night. Yeah, Sunday is going to be.
That's a nice little prize there. The Chamberlain piece of
the
Hershey Floor Arena. That's a nice little prize.
Oh yeah.
That's a nice prize. Hockey as well. You got a Perrant Stat jersey. Football, you got a Kelly Green jersey.
Oh yeah.
Nothing shabby about this fan's view in their fantasy.
Oh no, not at all, not at all. So
good job, Johnny. Good job. Good job.
We got it all going, and got all the sports covered, and we'll see how that Mr. Ozick wants to think he's going to do.
Oh, the challenge has been thrown out.
Yeah, he's ducking us for basketball. He conveniently didn't supply a lineup for hockey either. So, and then with all his basketball knowledge, he's I'm not sure if I'm going to play or not. So,
all right. Well, we're not we're not here to beg.
Oh no, we're not begging. We're here to.
You want to participate? He probably doesn't like the prizes. So
no, he just doesn't like to lose. That's the problem. So
all right.
But
all right, so we're all covered with fantasy. I know there's been a lot of injuries and a lot of a lot of redos.
Yeah. It's been a little bit crazy especially with the football this year.
Right.
Football's been tough, and we're going to see. Basketball's hockey and basketball they have their injuries, but it's a little bit spread out, so it's a little bit easier. I think so far, but. Because you have your load management days, so you miss out on those games. But
all right.
So we'll see what happens.
All right.
So we're good. All right. Well, in their basketball, we got their basketball coming soon.
Now
your picks.
No chance.
You're not even doing the basketball.
Why?
Wow.
Because I'm not a fantasy person.
Oh, all right.
I'm just not. I'm not. I don't know. Other than my team, I don't know enough about other players to pick and choose things.
So let's get back to the over/under on candy for this year. Now that you're a 1-year homeowner, how many are we planning for?
30.
Yeah.
I mean, have you talked to the neighbors? Have the neighbors given you any kind of indication?
Well,
there's a cul-de-sac here, and kids play in it all the time. Mm-hmm. So I imagine that's the 30 kids. But normally when you live in like the suburbs, a lot of times people from the city come in the suburbs. So I was ready to be like inundated with kids because it's easy walking here, and that didn't happen. So I imagine we'll buy a couple bags of things that we might like. And if they take them, they take them. But I don't expect it's going to be very many.
So what do? Leave it out on the porch and let them pick?
Oh my God, no!
No, we sat out there last year. We brought a folding chair over. We didn't have anything in the house, but we had a bowl of candy and a folding chair.
There you go.
Hey,
I imagine. Yeah, I was gonna say, imagine this year we'll just be inside making dinner, and if they come, we'll give them candy. I mean,
Yeah, we have
So when-
a couch now and a door. Well, no, we don't even have a doorbell. They'll have to knock. There's no
They'll knock.
doorbell.
what? How come no doorbell?
It's for the best.
we got a long list of
I don't know.
things. We'll figure it out.
That's for another
Hey,
show.
while we're talking to the happy homeowners, how did we do with our new trash can?
Well, I found out we didn't put it out yet.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, we're gonna put out this week, next week.
We gave the old one more
Oh
run.
yeah, we had to give it one last run. You can't just toss it. It's got to get one last run.
There you go.
It's ready for
One
next time.
last-
I'm telling
run.
you, if I had time, I could make some serious cash on YouTube with this guy's commentary.
You need to TikTok them.
Oh, I'm like, how'd the trash can do today? You know, the lid, did it fall off? I used the old one. I had to give it one last run.
Yeah, it's got to get one last run.
Okay, so ask
Too
me next
funny.
Wednesday how it fared.
I'll take it to
All
work
right.
tomorrow and throw it in the dump.
All right, I will mark my calendar to ask about the new $75 trash can.
So
Wow.
going back to Halloween, when we got here last year, and I got the light on, I've got the bowl of candy out. The neighbor on the other side here, not the ones connected to us, but on the other side, he goes, "You know, if you put your light on, kids are going to come."
No
Yeah.
shit.
I know, that's the point. And he's like, "Oh, you want that?" And I was like, "Yeah, I came all the way over here
So-
just to do that
And his problem is he made it awkward because he's drinking a beer on the front porch
with no light
with
on."
no light, but so the kids don't know if they should go up or not. And then they would go up, and he'd be sarcastic to him, like, "Hey, dummy, go inside if you're not going to do it." They're
Wow.
all confused.
Wow.
But in the last year, we understand why he is the way he is now.
All
So that
right,
makes
Joe,
it-
here you go. Here you go. We got classroom participation for our subject. If you had the opportunity to dress up like someone, who would you dress up as?
Like, does it have to be a sports person?
I don't think so. He didn't designate.
Hmm.
So I'm assuming, Joe, it could be anything. It could be a clown. It could be Wayne Gretzky. It could be Jason
Okay.
Kelsey. I'll bet there's a lot of Jason Kelsey this year,
Oh yeah.
Sure.
especially in the city.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. The Fanatic. Yeah, that's another good one, Nick.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's a good one. I like
Yep.
that.
Yep. Yep.
Hmm.
John, I'd love to hear your answer. First off, before you answer, as a kid, did you go out for Halloween?
Oh, always.
Okay.
I could have answered that for him.
Why?
You get free candy?
How's John not going to get free candy? Are you kidding me? He's like
I
the candy man.
didn't know. Gritty. Tom Kineen does not like Gritty. What a bunch of crap. What a bunch of crap. Stop, Tom. Stop.
When you lived in the city, it was the best.
Oh,
You'd
yeah.
we would end up having like 2 pillowcases filled.
100%. 100%.
You know, you walked around and you would have to go home and empty it and you know, get a drink of water and then go back out again.
Yep.
You know, it was the best.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like the that pinata thing.
I like that too. That's pretty creative.
Yeah, I think it was kind of. I mean,
That was just her opportunity to kick the shit out of her old man, right?
right, exactly. Yeah, but yeah, that would be cool if you were, you know, able to be in a you know, an area that a lot of kids
Well,
were.
here we
around.
are. It's what? We're 2 weeks away,
Right.
and we're talking Halloween.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We still got that wackiness about us.
So,
Hey, all right.
What's the favorite candy?
What's our
Uh,
favorite?
well, we didn't even answer Joe's thing. I mean, other than we got Fanatic from Nick and Tom with Gritty. I you know, if I had a choice like now, if I was doing it, I'd do Kelsey. You know, I do Kelsey. That's pretty cool.
I would be an Eagles coach. Sure, that would work. I
Mhm.
could
You'd
go
be
back.
what? An Eagles coach?
Yeah. Well, no, that's what Joe said. I would do that. Can't do any worse of a job than the clown that's doing it.
So you would dress up as a clown.
Yeah, exactly.
Anthony has a pretty sweet pig costume.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. That's
Mhm.
easy.
Yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
pig costume.
We've seen that.
Uh-huh.
Yes,
We've seen that.
yes, we have. There's some good ones at the stadium.
And we could find a mini I probably shouldn't even say this, huh?
I don't know what you're about to say.
All right.
All right.
What's the little fighting that you put the costume on?
Little fighting that we put the costume on.
Huh?
I'm drawing.
I don't know. I don't know where you're going.
Here in baseball town. But what's
Yeah.
what's that character called?
Screwball?
Screwball?
Yeah. What about him?
Yeah, you could go out as a mini screwball.
Oh, yeah, I could. Because anytime I wear that costume, it's very tiny.
That's
Okay.
where I was trying to go, but I had a tough time with my presentation.
Okay. I wasn't sure where we were going with that, but yeah, that's an option.
Hmm.
You might get in trouble for taking it, but that's okay.
Well, nobody's using it now.
Sometimes.
Sometimes he does like community appearances, like fall fests and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, he's pretty busy.
Has
Nick
AP
wants to know
ever
if you
worn
got
the
one.
mascot costumes?
Tons of times.
He got
Lots of
scabies
times.
from it.
Tons of times. You gotta the problem with the costumes though, you can't wash them, right? So there's no way to wash them at all. People think, oh, you must wash. You can't wash them. You can you can turn them out and sort of like tumble dry the first whatever, but you can't really wash it great. So it's wear at your own risk, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Yep.
All right. Why don't we do this? Why don't we work backwards? Because I got a funny feeling that the first couple of our teams will be easy, and then the next two might take up some time.
Oh, yeah.
So
Okay.
let's since the Flyers are now 4 games in.
Well, four games will be tomorrow, right?
Right.
With the
The fourth
Krakens?
game, yeah, they're 3 games in, and the fourth one's tomorrow night. And they finally get home off of a long Western Canadian road trip.
Yeah.
They haven't played bad at all. You know, for a young, aspiring team, you know, I think those 2 rookies are going to be pretty good down the road.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really excited where they're going. My big question mark is going to be goaltending. I think I pretty much laid that out early on.
Yeah.
That's my biggest scare right now is goaltending. So we shall see. You guys, John, Lauren, Anthony, you guys been there. What are they? 1-1-1?
Yes. 1-1-1.
Have you guys followed any of the high? I know it's been late. I haven't watched but a little bit of it. But
Yeah,
I catch the highlights, in the morning and
Right.
stuff like that. And I mean, they seem good, and it seems like they're just at least having fun and have some energy. So that's good.
Yep,
Yeah. Yeah.
energy they definitely have.
Yes. Yeah. It was good. They're playing well. Like you said, just the back-to-back when they had Calgary, the second game, they ended up losing that one, a little bit of a blowout at the end. But they were in that one for 2+ periods, and then I think the third period they kind of ran out of gas there. But
Yeah,
they've been playing well. I just like the speed of it. It's a totally.
Oh yeah. Well, they finally got speed.
Right.
They finally hit on these 2 picks. I think.
Yeah. Mitchkoff. That second goal that he had yesterday was a nice one timer.
Yep.
Pick that spot right above the pads. It wasn't a big spot to go through a window there, so he had a nice game there. And
Yep.
Jet almost had his first goal as well. It was tipped off the defender stick instead of his, but Brink got the third goal there. But it was nice. It was nice to see.
Yep.
And like I said, the Konechny's playing well. Coots is doing well with a couple fights there. having to stick up for himself and also Bitchkoff.
Yeah, they really have no. They don't have a guy,
A tough guy.
to support, some of the others. And when Contourier's that guy, I'm like, he doesn't need to get hurt.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's your captain, and he's been around in the league a long time, and
yeah, he had the ice on the hand yesterday.
yeah,
in the penalty box, and
yeah. But home opener Saturday night, 7:00. So it'll be. I think the Flyers are taking a page out of some of the other teams in the city, and they're having a big. I won't call it a street fest, but they're having some kind of
like a block party.
Like a block party, yes.
Nice.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, they'd be nice. It'd be good if they had an enforcer, Joe. I'd like that, but
right,
because you're gonna run into teams in your division, the Rangers. They got that big dude who he wants to fight everybody, and
yeah,
it just. But anyway, Saturday night
they'll start taking runs at Mitchkoff, as well. So
yep. But hopefully, they need to maybe figure something out there.
Because I think that was what was missing yesterday. Because they were beating up on Edmonton last night. Down, had them down 2-0, and then they started to put up a fight. Literally, they were starting to be chippy with the Flyers there, and I think it seemed to turn the tide a little bit, in their favor. But
Edmonton was 0-3 coming into last night. You know what I mean? And,
exactly.
I'm sure the coach was none too happy in the locker room.
True.
All right. Home opener Saturday night. We've got a couple of games at home coming up, so I'm sure we'll be talking about them just about every Wednesday night, especially when we're not live somewhere.
Exactly.
But we're about a week away from Sixer basketball. I think the opener is next. Is it Wednesday?
Yeah, next Wednesday.
Wednesday night.
Yep.
I don't know. Lauren, are you prepared for this 76er season?
Yeah, I think the best thing is to really go into it without any expectations. That's probably how I'm also going to approach the Phillies season next year too. So I think it's just best to go into it really with no expectations, hope for the best, but we'll see what happens. There's already been some issues with preseason and some injuries and stuff, so you never really like to see that. But, you just kind of shrug your shoulders and hope for the best. And we'll see. Maybe they'll surprise us.
Well, that's one way to look at it. They spent a lot of time and energy and money this offseason putting a whole new team together, other than Embiid and Maxey. And who was the young guy, John? Help me out. Who was the one young guy that was under? Is it Martin? Was it
KJ Martin?
KJ Martin. I think he was under contract, but he's got a 2-way deal, if I have that correct, right?
Yeah, him, and then Oubre came back as well. They were able to bring back a couple other guys.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's it's going to be interesting to see with Paul George, with that knee, hyperextending that knee already, and they're calling it a bruise, which they're
again, it was it's
stupid play.
Exactly. Yep.
A freak play that just happened, and and then Embiid's already talking that he's not going to be able to play back-to-back games this year, and it's.
I feel like it's going to take a little bit for. I feel like most people are probably like Lauren, right? You want the team to win. They've shown that they're going to change things up by keeping the two really good players and adding on with George. But until they prove you something, you're very hesitantly optimistic, I would say, because even if obviously you're positive, even if they look lights out in the regular season, until they start proving something in the playoffs, I don't think many people are going to be that jacked. It'll still be full, but I don't know if you're going to hear the optimism on the street that you would before, because it's just like, all right, are you really going to do something this time, or is this the millionth time that you're just pretending? And I don't know that they're on. We were talking about work the other day. I don't know that they're, they might be better than last year, let's say, but do you feel like they're good enough today before, obviously, who knows this early, but are they good enough to beat New York or Boston, which are the real tests? And I don't know that this team is, even with all the changes, if they're set up to do that. I mean, I hope they are, but those teams are good. So I don't know.
We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, there's some veteran players, Andre Drummond to back up Embiid. I mean, I love that move. I was a little angry when they let him walk,
Right.
The first time. So maybe we learned our lesson. So I mean, I like that as the potential backup and replacement. I think he's going to get plenty of playing time. The new young kid, what's his name? Jalen McCain.
McCain, yeah.
I mean, he seems like he's got game. Seems like he's not. There's no. I mean, I know it's preseason, but it doesn't appear that there's any spot that he doesn't shy away from. So, there's a lot of questions. But I mean, Boston's Boston, right? They won the championship, so they're coming back with the crown.
Yeah.
The Knicks, they made a couple of moves. Shockingly, went out and got
Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah, another big man.
Which some people say that might hurt him a little bit, because he's going to want the ball, take the ball away from.
He's only going to get the ball if Brunson distributes it to him. So
exactly, that's what I mean.
He's the quarterback of that team. So
right. So,
but
it may not be a great fit, but he's a good player.
Yeah.
But it's a matter of being a fit.
We'll see. So Sixers. I think they have one more exhibition game. I think is that tonight, maybe tonight versus our boy Ben Simmons and the Brooklyn Nets.
Is he still in the league?
He still is.
Wow. Good for him.
He still is. He's still stealing a paycheck.
Good for him.
Yes, he is. I'd love to know how many minutes he's played in his entire career.
About 20 more than us.
So should be, it's going to be exciting. He's playing. Ben's playing tonight. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Is the game in Philly?
I'm not sure where it's at, but yeah.
I think it is. I think they were talking about
let's find out.
$10 tickets or something.
$10 tickets.
It is in Philly. It's actually on at 7:00 against the Nets.
There you go.
Yeah. $10 it'd be worth it, if you didn't have to pay, transportation and parking for a $10 ticket.
Right. $10, but the parking's $35.
But I don't know. One last subject on the Sixers. Have you guys been following any of it with the relocation to, down to Center City, Philly, basically?
I thought it sounded like it was there was all this movement to get it in Camden, but now the last time I looked,
I think that moving it to Camden was them calling Philly's bluff.
Right.
I think that's all that was give us the stadium downtown that we want, or we're going to move it to Camden. And the city was like, okay, all right, we'll move, we'll give it to you downtown.
So is that move further along?
I think that's more of that's what's going to happen sort of thing. The mayor got involved and made a whole statement and stuff like that.
Yeah, the mayor already pronounced that it's going to happen, and so we'll see. But I don't know that it's definitely down in Chinatown, no, or not. That's where they were initially thinking, but because there was some rumors about being up in Franklin Mills, or the old Franklin Mills, which is Philadelphia Mall now, up there in the Northeast. But I don't know.
So Nick is saying it has to pass through city council to be approved for, excuse me, the fashion district down there in Philly. So
Well,
I guess
there's a lot of hoops to be dealt with. I imagine you can't just build that. Even the mayor can say whatever they want, but like you gotta get all that approved, and you gotta get all. It's a lot of work. So I'm sure they're going to say that, especially right after the Camden thing, to make sure that it looks that way.
Right.
But listen, and I know people want it down there, but it's nice to at least have Camden as a backup plan. It's nice to have that there. It's not like the team's going somewhere, right? So I'm sure they'll figure it out. But
here's my play on all of this. And I have no inside information. This is just totally, Carl's comment on the Sixers leaving, the Wells Fargo Center. I think this is the prime opportunity to bring a WNBA team to Philadelphia and have a spot at the Wells Fargo Center to play.
Sure.
Well, they were close this last round. The two expansion teams, I forgot where they went elsewhere, but I guarantee you the next time that now obviously it's not going to be right away because they just named two other towns, but
that could be down, that could be very well down the road because it's going to take a long time to get that stadium built.
Yeah, but you're saying Wells Fargo, it would make more sense to be with the Sixers, no? Not Wells Fargo.
No, because you're going to have, a building with a lot of open dates.
No,
I don't know. To be honest with you, I think if the ownership, the Sixers ownership group, got behind a WNBA team, it would have happened. So I don't know how much push.
Well, I'm saying if you have one spot where there's an NBA team and another spot where there's no NBA team, I imagine the WNBA team would want to go with it to make it the home of Philadelphia basketball. Is what I would think. The Wells Fargo, I don't know what you're going to do other than I guess they have lacrosse and stuff and other concerts, and its proximity to the other stadiums and parking is good, so that'll always be okay. But yeah, it'll definitely hurt them with one less tenant.
I just think it would be a great partnership, for the Wells Fargo Center and Comcast Spectacor, to go after something like that. I mean, it's been talked about, and I just think it's long overdue. There's a lot of great college basketball in Philadelphia, both women and men's. Yeah. So I think it would be a prime spot. I mean, either way, if the Sixers decided to partner up, but that owner has his, he's got his money spread out all over the place. Mm-hmm. He's part owner with the Jersey Devils. He's part owner with the Washington Commanders. I think he's got something else, that he's part of.
It was in a soccer team, I think, too.
Yeah, I thought it was soccer.
Yeah.
But anyway, enough Sixers talk.
Yeah, just to answer Tom's question, Joel just wouldn't play on a back-to-back days, not scheduled games. It was so if they played on a Tuesday night and played on a Wednesday night, he wouldn't play on a Wednesday night, obviously, because he's going to want to watch the show. But
exactly what it is.
Right. So he won't be playing on that back-to-back days. And if they had a day in between, he would still play those.
So if there were games Tuesday and Wednesday, then he wouldn't play the Tuesday game, or he would play the Tuesday game so he could skip and be available Wednesday.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Maybe we could get a mic on him on the bench.
There you go.
Well, not to get in it because I know you want to switch the subject, but I got to just say it. I think it's utterly ridiculous. I get that they want to save him and this and that. I've never heard of a player who's not playing back-to-back dates or has as many issues as this guy does. I get it.
Maybe it'll help.
I get it. You want to save him. What is he? A piece of china? Like, it's ridiculous. Like,
piece of china.
It's utterly ridiculous. Figure out how to play.
But maybe
he is very injury prone. So
he is, but figure it out.
But he got that gold medal though.
I think we're past the figure it out stage.
Well, then
he got another contract extension.
Exactly, he got another $100 million out of this.
Then you're locked in until you get that new arena with this guy, and you'll be bringing him out there.
Well, that's the thing. He won't even be around when they get to the new stadium.
And when they do unveil the new arena, apparently we'll have to roll him out in a wheelchair at the rate he's
Right.
going. These injuries. So.
Just don't let him build a statue until he does something. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Do they win? Do they win a championship with Embiid in town?
No, absolutely not. You should have got rid of him while he was an MVP and got something for him.
I just had to hear that one more time.
No, I mean, if you do, I'll be the first to say I was wrong, but I don't think. I mean, how do you do it? This team's not there right now, and the only thing you can do is move him to get a team that's better. But the longer you don't do that, the worse he gets. I mean, you're in a horrible spot right now, so you got to hope they can figure it out.
The Sixers are like a slightly better version of the Pirates. They pretty much sucked my whole life, but I'm such a fan that every year I'm willing to look past all the nonsense. But at least we spend. That's why I said we're slightly better, because at least we'll spend. But we don't get any better results.
They'll be fine. They'll make the playoffs, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows what they'll do.
I found it interesting that you bring up the Pirates on MLB XM today. They interviewed the Pirates manager about the playoffs.
What would he have to say about that?
Well, that's what I found interesting. That I guess that was the only guy that they could call in or whatever.
What the playoffs look like from his couch? What insight could he have provided them?
I'm sure they asked him no hard-hitting questions, just questions about the playoffs.
Oh, hopefully next year the Pirates can be there. Yeah.
They were all softballs. Every
Terrible.
one of them. Well, they did ask him about, the ownership and signing, some players and
and he is an employee of the team, so he's never going to be able to say how he truly feels about anything.
Correct. All right.
He did say they were eating Juan Soto, at the end of the offseason.
Hey, did you see that last rumor that popped today?
No, which one was that?
Juan Soto, 15 years, $700 million.
Holy.
Wow.
Crap.
Okay.
Who's taking that deal?
The Yankees, obviously.
Do they have that much money at this point? I mean,
who's worth a 15-year contract?
It's monopoly money.
He's coming to Philadelphia.
You want to deal with that?
I don't want another superstar.
You don't need more superstars. You need more Chris Coast and those type guys.
Chris Coast, huh? All right. Flyers, check. Sixers, check. Pirates, check. Chris Coast.
Nick is asking when the last time the Pirates made the playoffs. What year was that? 2014?
2015.
2015. That's what
it's not that long. Maybe just a decade. No big deal.
Yeah.
They're there.
Yeah.
All right. You pick it, Johnny. Phillies or Sixers, or Phillies or Eagles?
All right, let's do the Phillies because that way you'll save a little bit more time for the Phillies or the Eagles. I know you like to when things aren't good, you like to hide them off to the end, so we don't have as much time with the Eagles.
Yo. Hey, I give you guys the whatever you. Oh man, where'd my page go?
Exactly. You lost your information. You're still there.
Where'd my page go?
We're here.
Yeah, you're still there.
I lost mine though.
Okay.
But just keep talking. But yeah, we'll go with the Phillies. I mean, it was rough. They just didn't hit like you said, Ant. They do need a little bit. I don't know that they need more of those guys. I think they just need the guys that are on the team, like Bryson Stott and Bohm and Rojas. Like those guys have to do those jobs and not try to be home run hitters. And
well, I think like when you watch the Mets. I don't know if that's been their philosophy all along or that's how it's just turned out over the last month or so. But they don't look like they're trying to hit a home run. They're just trying to make contact. When they interviewed Lindor at the end of the win the other day, he had a big home run, and they said, were you trying to hit a home run? He said, no, I was just trying to make contact with the ball, and wherever it goes, it goes.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard the Phillies say that, and maybe I have, but I don't remember it. I feel like I watched them, and they're trying to hit the ball, and they're falling out of their shoes. And then, Bryson Stott does that. And then Bohm does that. And then it gets in your head that, someone's got to get that big hit. And that's just sort of what's kind of plagued them the whole time. Now, I do think though you need some of those guys that are like that, because all these guys in their mind they think they're home run hitters, and you just look at Bryson Stott's physique. Not that he can't hit a home run, but he's not built for home runs. That guy's a double guy all day.
Right.
So it's interesting because after not sort of making any moves with the coaching staff, people were sort of up in arms. They want to get rid of Kevin Long, things like that. I don't think that Kevin Long could say whatever he wants.
They're all back anyway. They made that announcement.
No, that's what I'm saying. That people were up in arms because they didn't do anything with the coaching staff. I don't. What would you like them to do? You have the best players. You've been up to the World Series and then kind of regressed the last couple of years. I mean, what do you want the coaches to do? The players got to play. You got some of the best players in the league. I mean,
right. Oh yeah.
I don't know what you're.
You know what? We keep hearing that.
But they're good. They're a solid team. They're not bad. It's not like you would blow the whole thing up. The problem is, what do you do to make the team better? Who's the core of guys you want to keep? And is it based solely on how long contracts they have left? Because that shouldn't be the reason. You should do it based on who you think is going to actually help you long term, and who, is it an organizational thing where everyone's trying to hit home runs? Do the Mets not have that? I mean, there's a lot of questions that I don't know the answers to.
Well, there was no. We keep talking. I got a double page, John. Can you get rid of one?
I think you have to do it on your end as far as the closing out the one.
Double page.
Yeah, he's logged in twice.
Oh.
There you go. But yeah, it's. I think it's more just, they're a little bit more professional hitters. Like Iglesias has been around for a while. For the Mets. They just have a few guys that are willing to do the little things. Where I still think they're trying to swing for the home runs, the Mets themselves, for the most part. But they have the few guys that are there that are doing their job, as far as line drives and at the bottom of the order, where our bottom of the order was, like you said, trying to swing for home runs. And they're not built that way, for those guys. So it makes it tough. You say you don't want to get, star players, but I mean, what guys are we getting rid of, and how are we going to, fix?
I don't know the answers to who's available, and we won't know that for a little bit too, when everything's over with. But even if you get guys, let's say even if they're sort of equal talent, right? Mm-hmm. But the other guy has a little bit more, how do you say it? Grit, has a little bit more. If he's more of a clubhouse guy, I don't know. I'm just making a general statement that I don't know that you need to have the names of stop, boom, blah, 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 blah. Oh my God, look at this team, they're stacked, and then they don't do it. I don't care what the names are. Just right. Even if the guy looks like he might be a little bit lesser, if he's going to hustle his butt off and get a scrappy hit here and there, that's way better than a guy just striking out or swinging at garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
yeah, I mean, there's a few guys coming off.
If we're comparing, the Phillies to the Mets and then to the Dodgers, the Mets had no pressure whatsoever. I mean,
true.
They had no pressure whatsoever. They got, it was fortunate that the Braves, were injured, and, they had that 1-game playoff, and, they just been riding this as far as they can go. And they've gotten a few guys, they picked up a couple of guys at the trade deadline. They were available to the Phillies.
Yeah.
They were out there. We could have went and got them, but we stuck with the same guys. I think that the real problem here is, and I don't think that the GM or the manager addressed either one of these situations yesterday. They got a hole in left field, they got a hole in center field, and they got a hole now at catcher, because you've got a catcher that's getting old, and he's had, a really bad year, injuries, big drop off in production. So, where do you go now? You've got these holes that you need to, to figure out and figure out quick, because the team doesn't have a young catcher, that's waiting in the wings. Now they do have a young center fielder. They do have a young third baseman / second baseman. So maybe that's what they're thinking.
Yeah. Yeah. I could see, potentially a Bohm or Stott being moved in the off season.
Both, what's Bohm got? One more year of arbitration, and
one or
Stott,
two, yeah.
Stott's got a ton of years, so you could probably, get some decent pieces. But, like Anthony said, what do you really need? You know what I mean? You got a Justin Crawford that's probably ready to play center field, given the opportunity, next March.
Right. Oh yeah.
But I think the important thing is everyone loves Stubbs because he's fun in the clubhouse. Well, JT's not getting any younger. His knees are hurting.
No.
He plays more games at catcher than anyone else.
Yep. Garrett
Stubbs cannot be your legitimate backup catcher.
No, he's going to be gone. He's going to be gone this year.
With all due respect, you got to get a guy who could actually. So it's a young guy that he could tutor for another year or two, whatever. And the outfield, that stuff's a little bit easier, hopefully, to figure out. Guys become available, but the catcher spot's tough. You got to get someone young right now. And Stubbs isn't neat and all, but he's not going to be able to. He's not going to be able to do it all those games. JT's got to play far fewer games than he's been playing.
Yeah, they talked about that already.
I mean, and they talked about it again at the end of last year, giving these guys rest. You know what I mean? And what is it? The traditional 1 day off a week plus whatever days they're off that particular week. So, and then on top of it, he got hurt, and they didn't send him out, so he rehabbed at the the big league level. So now what? You're jeopardizing, I don't know, probably a month of the season without the best catcher.
Right. Oh yeah.
And his
having Schwarber as the full-time DH hurts.
Well,
to be able to give him a day off, off his feet and still have his bat in the lineup.
I just, I think there's there's a whole reevaluation process this year. I think this whole team needs to be reevaluated top to bottom. No one's locked in at the leadoff spot. No one's locked in at the third, hit spot. I think they really need to develop what you've talked about a lot, John. The whole righty lefty, break it up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Anthony, you talked about it. You need guys who can play small ball and create some, havoc on the base.
Well, yeah. And you have Schwarber leading off, which is tough because he hits a big home run and no one's on. That's not helpful. And then, I talked more than anyone about the hitting, but now that it's over with, are those guys in the bullpen okay? Do they just have one rough postseason and they're going to be good to trot out there again? Or are there some legitimate issues there that you need to address? I mean, they're still, don't get me wrong, they're still a really good team. But in order to get over the hump to beat the really great teams, they got some work to do. They got to figure it out.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, the Dodgers, how many years, John, have they been, taking a run at this every year?
They've been doing it for a decade almost now. It's in the last 3 years, they 2 out of 2 years they lost in the first round of the playoffs. With this new system. I mean, so yeah, it's tough. It's not easy. Even if you, no matter how much money you spend. I mean, they're spending, $500 million on that team, with the Dodgers, and they're still, questionable if they're going to, do it. So yeah, it's not. It's not all about, just like you said, Ant, spending the money is being spent. It's how you spend it and get those guys. I mean, just look how the Diamondbacks beat us. They just had clutch hitting here and there, and timely hitting with a couple of bombers. It's so Yeah, it's just it's tough. I don't know. Andrew Painter, he had a couple innings. He gave up a couple of runs in his first fall Arizona Fall League game there, Nick, and he reached 100, on a couple, some pitches, but it's just still gave up some runs. So I don't know, how long he is going to be available, and he hasn't pitched much, so I don't know how you're going to expect him to come in and be a full-time starter.
Well, I think he's got to be, that's a point of, he's got to be ready to go in March.
Right.
He's got to be ready to go, barring any injury setbacks. He has to be ready to go. And to be honest with you, he's got to be ready to go as the fifth starter. I think, without a trade or anything of that magnitude, you gotta pencil him in as the fifth starter.
I don't know that that's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't either.
Speaking realistically, there's no way in hell you're going to be out for that whole year, and you're going to. I mean, listen, you may have a great spring training, but even if that's the case, I wouldn't throw him out there. I'd put him in Lehigh Valley or something.
What do you have to lose? Why did they send him to the Arizona Fall League then?
So that he can get some reps in, because it's the only place to play. But I would not put him in the Major League Baseball at the beginning of the year. There's no point in him playing in April or May or getting himself hurt. Let him get some time in Lehigh. Let's play a month or two, and in the summertime you might bring him up if you feel like he's deserved it. But I would be very hesitant to bring him up at the beginning.
I mean, he's only got like 25 starts in his career before he got hurt.
Yeah, I mean, he was only in Reading for like two games or something. I remember.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's not like he doesn't have much pitching, so he's not.
How many games did Paul Skeens pitch before the?
Well, with all due respect, Paul Skeens is not because he's on the Pirates. Paul Skeens is a different animal. That guy's legit.
Well, he also pitched through college, so he pitched a lot more. Right. Where Andrew Painter was a high school kid.
Right.
So I mean, he was pitching. I mean, I don't know how much he did it in LSU. I mean, he was pitching a lot in LSU. Skeens.
He's also, I don't know. Skeens also looks like he's got like a stronger build up top. Like he might be able to. Painter looks a little.
Oh yeah, he's a stick.
He looks a little skinnier, so I would be hesitant to throw him out there. I don't want to get him hurt again.
Well, we're going to find out, because I think, this team has to, they got to look at every option available. And the day and age of waiting on prospects to develop, I think they develop them at the major league level these days, more so than, in AA and AAA.
I think if you keep all the coaching the same like they have, the only thing I would add in is, and I get that everyone's getting older, but when you brought out, a couple of years ago, it was a lot of Boa and Charlie I saw in Reading. Not that they need to be coaches, but just have those type of people around a little more.
Well, Boa's been around all season. I mean, he was right there with them, to the last game. He was out there on the field.
Yeah, I'm just saying more old school guys so that they.
Oh, I don't disagree.
They don't 100%. Feel like they got to hit home runs.
100%. I totally agree.
Yeah.
I just, they've got to do something. And I don't know. I mean, barring a big free agent signing, which I don't know. I don't know if Middleton's willing to spend any more money or not.
I know he will. He's going to spend. Like I said, he's probably like $40-50 million under what the Mets and the Dodgers are spending, and what the Yankees are spending. So there's money to be spent. He's going to go out there and especially being knocked out again, because like you were talking about earlier, Ant, Schwarber is on his last year of his deal. JT's on his last year of his deal. Castellanos has only got 2 more years left on his deal. So
did you see the interesting thing about Nick? He fired his agent, Scott Boras, and he's going to represent himself.
Did he? I didn't see that. No.
Yep.
Yeah. So there's guys out there that are going to be coming off the books, and you can't stop the madness, Nick or Wally, because they got a lot of teams that are going to be out there spending that money on those guys. So,
but would you guys want, or as of today, would you want to sign Soto Baseball's the one sport where not one guy's going to turn everything around. So do you need another guy that's making all that money? Is he going to win it for you? Like would have been the difference this year in the playoffs? I don't think it would have been.
A guy that hit over 100 RBIs and 40 home runs,
but you think that one guy is worth the cost that he cost, that they're going to get over that hump to win the World Series? Baseball's a little different than basketball. Like you gotta.
True. I mean, it's still always a a tough thing, but he's young still. Like Nick said, he's 26 years old, and
didn't we expect more out of Trey Turner? Didn't we expect him to be that guy too?
Oh, we did. I mean, and like you always say, Ant, it's always going to come down to pitching as well, type of thing, But
well, I just think like Wally's point makes a lot more sense to me. 2 to 3 guys that are not nearly as much and aren't another sort of diva in the locker room and just go about their business getting runs is always better to me than another.
I want a guy that's got something to prove. I don't want another star player. I don't want another star player. I made this post on my dad's blog maybe the day or the day after they lost. These guys, every single one, pretty much in that lineup has been told since they were a little kid how great they're going to be. And they've carried that mentality throughout their entire career. And now they're out there. And frankly, win or lose, it doesn't matter because they still get paid. I want somebody with the likes of Derek Hall who's going to go out there and at least give you 110%. Even if he strikes out every time he's up there, it feels like you got 110%. This postseason, I felt like I got 10% from that entire lineup. So I don't want another superstar. I don't want another Soto or anybody like that. I want 2-3 guys that can come off the bench and really be scrappy and make a freaking difference. Because Bryson Stott is a mini Bryce Harper. He's just replicating whatever he does. Bohm is stuck in his head somewhere that hopefully he can get out of this season. And Kyle Schwarber is a wasted bat at the top of the lineup because no one's ever on when he hits a home run, so it don't make damn a difference.
Well, that's true, but also where are you putting those 2 or 3 players if you're getting them?
I don't need to put them anywhere. I'm talking about coming off the bench. I'm talking about a good catcher that's got something to prove. So when JT needs to sit, he can, and we're not all holding our breath, sitting on the edge of the couch, wondering if he's going to strike out or not. But he's actually out there getting that single, bunting, trying to steal, do all that stuff. It's so frustrating to hear how elite this team is, and you're out the first playoff series you had.
Yeah, they've done the opposite of be elite. They've gone from World Series to first round knockout. I mean, it's gotten worse every year.
Yeah, no, I get it, but again, but it's just not bench players is what's gonna help this team win the World Series.
Sure it is, because the bench players are what's going to put some fire under those guys' ass.
They look bad if they don't hit.
Because when you pull Matt Stairs off the bench and he hits that World Series home run, that's what makes the difference. That's what everybody remembers. That's what gets the rest of the lineup fired up.
No, I get
Soto isn't going to do that. And you want to talk about how great his numbers are. That doesn't mean shit, because when he gets here, what if he doesn't perform like that? Bryce Harper had the same type of numbers before he came here. They all did. That's why they're here. And then they get here and they shit the bed.
No,
I want somebody out of the minor leagues that has something to prove. I don't want another $30 million Soto, and that's going to be the life-saving thing for us. I'm tired of it.
No, I get your point, but the thing is, when it comes to the playoffs, those guys aren't going to be playing.
But there's a chance that they do. There's a chance that they can play, because if they're riding the hot hand, sometimes they might. And if you get far enough into the playoffs, some guy might need that game. So when Weston Wilson is playing, somebody not named Weston Wilson who actually gives a shit might be out there to make a difference.
Yeah. And you do have, it's good to have those guys off a bench, but you also need, like I said, you got to have, maybe you make a move, maybe you make a Bohm move, right? He had a great year as all-star, home run derby, whatever.
I think we're getting, we've zeroed in on a lot of issues here, and I think a lot of it, and I complained about it all year, and I know a lot of people that are on the show tonight and all of us have complained about the bottom of the lineup.
Right.
And they just did not produce. You got no production out of those guys. I don't care what Thompson did, changing up, 6, 7, 8, 9, those guys, you could shake them all up like a jar of marbles. It just didn't matter. You just didn't get anything out of them. Then Turner gets hurt. Bohm gets hurt. There you lose Sosa to, have to start. Then, the whole position of, Stott can't, he can't face, he's got to be a platoon player now all of a sudden
right.
because he can't play every game. We just fell so in love with analytics and the combination of all the injuries and not having replacement players. I mean, where the hell was Cody Clemens all year? I mean, he was having a hell of a good summer. Then he got hurt. They sent him back to AAA for 2 months, and we didn't see him again until September.
Right.
It made no sense.
Because if they play him, then they got to sit one of the superstars.
Well, and that there lies the problem because the manager doesn't want to take the responsibility to go against, the analytics people because, they're getting a different draft, saying, well, this guy works better tonight than this guy. So, you had a lot of topsy-turvy going on, and I don't know how much. I agree, but it's
a whole system. I think that's what people don't understand. They get mad at Rob Thompson from game to game. Rob Thompson, yes, he's ultimately the guy, but there's a whole from the minor leagues up, you're sort of taught to play a certain way, and not that he can't manage, but it's a bigger sort of issue than just Rob Thompson. It's a system.
I look at we keep going back to the Mets-Dodgers series and the Mets. They had no idea who their starting 9 was going to be. They still don't know, and they're playing for the National League Championship, and they keep penciling guys in, that they're not everyday players. They were never everyday players. And they've made
their way. That's my point. That's my point.
That's a good problem to have.
But they went and made the adjustments at the trade deadline and brought in a couple of guys that they knew could help them.
They also went and made the adjustments from game to game in the series and figured out that every time you get up there, you don't have to hit a home run. 100%. But that 1 through 6 in our lineup, that's all they're up there to do. And if they don't, they feel like they failed.
All right. Well, we got lots to talk about. We got lots more to talk about. Johnny, I'm going to hand it over to you because I don't want to miss anything on this Football Wednesday.
Oof. It was an ugly win.
So hold your thought a sec. Lauren, do you want to do John's rants before or after?
There you go.
I want to do it now.
You want to do it now? Well, yeah, let's go. That's what I thought.
Yeah, we can do John's rants because this is going to be good. Nick's got to go. Nick's got to go. I mean, why's Nick Graff got to go? He's that Nick can stay, because he's playing our fantasy games. But Nick Sirianni's got to go. You can't be arguing with fans. If he's hearing them, he's not and worrying about going as soon as the game's over to yell at them. He's not paying attention during the game when he's supposed to be the CEO. He's not a CEO. He's a BOZO is what he is.
Oh,
a what?
A bozo. BOZO. He's not a CEO. And he's not professional enough. I mean, there's no reason for him to be out there because you just had a good game and now all the attention's on him. And even though the game wasn't great, they won. It was good. Fine. he's got to stop. He's not bringing anything to this team other than embarrassment. I mean, everybody's talking on national TV how much of an idiot this guy is, and he's our head coach. How can we get to where we want to be? This is why we're winning these close games, and when it comes to the playoff times, we're going to end up losing again because of this idiot, and it's just not right. And until he's gone, it's not. We're just going to be spinning around in circles here. It's not fun.
B-O-Z-O, huh?
He's a B-O-Z-O.
B-O-Z-O.
Yep.
B-O-Z-O, that's amazing.
Johnny, you know what's funny? In general, this isn't about you. This is a general statement. People love this guy. Oh, I love how different he is. He wears all the Philly shirts. We love this guy when he's winning. And then as soon as he starts losing, he sucks, kick him out. I'm not saying that doesn't happen in other places, but it's definitely a big Philadelphia thing.
But he's winning. But they're winning, and they're still saying it to him.
Yeah, right. But right, that's what's funny. But like that win was like come on. You thought you would?
Oh yeah,
it
was an embarrassment of a win.
Beat the Browns by 30 points.
Right.
The Eagles have as much energy as the Phillies do, frankly.
No one's got any energy in Philadelphia. What are we doing?
Maybe we all need to move the stadiums. Maybe the Sixers are onto something.
All right, I got a question, and I don't know. I don't really know where I sit on this. But the person that was sitting that close to the sidelines,
right?
You got to assume, and I understand he was on Sports Talk Radio the other day, and I don't know if he's a season ticket holder or not. But, like, shouldn't somebody be trying to control that individual? Like, I mean, I understand you pay good money, you can boo all you want and scream all you want, but being a season ticket holder, aren't you subjecting yourself to maybe not getting that renewal form next year?
No,
possibly.
No. They should be able to say whatever they want. A coach is never supposed to turn around. That guy can say whatever he wants. And it sounds like maybe what I read was wrong before. I didn't know he was on any media today, but there was like a Reddit post where he, a post online where he said, if I read it correctly, Nick wasn't giving me a hard time. He was kind of coming back like, listen, I told you we were going to do good, which, by the way, he shouldn't be doing in the first place. But as a fan, unless you're making like a death threat, I think you should be able to say whatever you want. It's up to the coach to be the bigger man.
I just look at it, where was Big Dom? That's a great question. You know what I mean? Isn't he his protector? His person to get in between all this? I just find it fascinating that, you're sitting that close and you're more than likely a season ticket holder.
Oh yeah.
And, you're going, off the rails, at the coach. Now, mind you got to be screaming your lights out, to be able to have the coach hear you to begin with.
He's got rabbit ears.
I'm sure he rallied some friends around him, which made it even louder, would be my guess. I'm sure it just
you
wasn't
guys
one
understand
guy.
guys understand where I'm coming from, though?
But also, like, this is we're to the point where I'm just as frustrated with the Phillies, and I feel like those fans are just as frustrated with the Eagles. And at some point, maybe there's nothing left but to just scream at the top of your lungs.
I
to try to make it feel like something can happen.
I think it's the best that it was a season ticket holder type person. They're the ones that spent all this money. He's got the more right to be frustrated than anyone. That's great.
But like you said, Big Dom's got to, step in. But it's not really up to him because Sirianni's just got to ignore it.
You shouldn't have been doing it in the first place. He's a grown man.
Again, if you're paying attention and keeping notes that this guy is saying whatever he's saying, you're not paying attention to that game. Because I can tell you, if you're standing 50 feet away from me and you're yelling and screaming when a game's going on, I could be paying attention to the game more than hearing what you're talking about.
And I mean, he did it. He did it last year in Indianapolis?
Oh, he does it everywhere. That's the thing. He doesn't grow up from it.
Yeah. Kansas City or something. He did it.
We did it in Kansas City, but he also did it in Indianapolis. He's done it in other spots. You know,
well, I think that's the bigger problem. If it was a one-time thing and he actually felt like he, was sorry is one thing, but he's done it 3 times now that we can remember.
Yeah, and
I'm sure someone should talk to him.
Right. Well, they've talked to him because he got reprimanded again. His nuts were hanging up on how his things clicking each other again, going back and forth with the pendulum. And it was because he had
close those balls.
ding 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 ding. I mean, it was just because he came out and apologized. Yeah, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that. Well, stop. You should have known before you had to apologize about it. It's just I don't know because you're taken away because it was actually a pretty shitty game, even though they won. I mean that game, like you said, it was very lucky that they won that game because of Cleveland being as bad as they were, getting down there at the goal line. In that fourth quarter, there they were down there to tie the game up. Or maybe even go ahead if they went for 2. Jalen Hurts had only 16 completions for the game. Saquon Barkley had 47
yards. Turned the ball over though. You missed that part.
No, he didn't. That was good. And Bryce Huff even got a half a sack. So we got some steps going there. And the whole team had 5 sacks.
Anyone that actually thinks that he's going to be removed as a coach, I do not think so. I think they're going to give him weeks. It's not something they're going to do in a couple weeks in. They're going to give it. If you lose the next 5 games, is different. But I think he's got a little bit of a leash because his teams have been generally good over the years. And again, they won the other day.
Right. Well, I think though too, Nick's got to figure out his teams. I think setting them up because they're all telling him, "Hey, Nick, we need the old Nick back to be the bozo out there, which is just going to end up getting them fired." So I think they're trying to make it look like they're supporting them when they're actually really not.
Hey, John, who would you rather be, Sirianni or McCarthy, coach of the Cowboys?
Yeah. Well, I mean Sirianni only because you got a better team, but yeah. I mean, I don't know because it's just embarrassing again too because he called out that he made the bad play calls on a couple of situations where he's not supposed to be making play calls. And then Fangio had to answer questions about it. He goes, he didn't even, made it seem like he didn't even make the calls, and what he did was irrelevant anyway. So, it's just, he comes up with the discern. That was his new word that he got taught this week was discern. That was, he has to learn when to use his discern, whatever that means. But, it's just, I don't know. It's too much, because you're just a distraction. Players have to be asked about it. It's not a way to have a football team be productive and that you're hoping that's going to be a Super Bowl team. So.
I lost control. Is John's rant over, or is it still? It was still going.
Oh no, it was over. It was over, but we're just continuing on with
Bozo's balls.
Yeah. I didn't get to use that one last week, so I was saving that one up for a while.
You were saving that one, huh?
Yeah. I wanted to get that little pendulum. What's that called? When the
pendulum?
balls. Yeah. I needed to get one of those to put up on display here.
Lauren's layups?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I didn't know how much longer you wanted to extend the show out.
Well, we kind of went off the rails last week, so I felt like we owed ourselves to reel it back in and try to be, a real show this week.
Okay. So this is actually about the Phillies.
Good.
Who is your MVP of the year? And who was your surprise player of the year that did well? So taking a very crappy situation and thinking back to all the good that happened, who's your MVP and who is your surprise positive performance player?
Can I go first?
Sure.
So my MVP is Nick Castellanos. Played 162 games. Played a solid defense in right field. And to be honest with you, I don't think if it wasn't for his offense in the second half, I don't know where you would have been.
Right.
So I'm gonna go Big Nick MVP, and my surprise has got to be Christopher Sanchez, because I think he's a new young arm and something that can develop. And like they said yesterday, I think we've got a solid 4-man, and we need to build around it.
Okay.
I kind of agree with you there. I'll also add Zach Wheeler as the MVP.
Yeah, agreed.
Zach Wheeler and Christopher Sanchez obviously is the surprise for this year. But Zach Wheeler and Nick are the two, I think, guys deserving for the MVP there.
Okay. Yeah, I was pretty much feeling the same thing. Wheeler as MVP and Sanchez as sort of the surprise moment of the season. So I heard this question a couple weeks ago. Taryn Hatcher picked Kyle Schwarber as her MVP, and Ruben Amaro picked Christopher Sanchez as his MVP. So I thought that was interesting. So
yeah,
I would definitely go with Wheeler. Castellanos can do it, man. I don't want to say I don't like him as a human being, because that's not a nice thing. But he's not a guy I would hang out with. He comes off as really cocky. Even if he's on your team, I don't like it. I don't like people like that. Like Wheeler seems like a nice, genuine human being. I would always pick him over that. And then I'd probably actually go with Cody Clemens. I think he shocked people. I think every time he got up, he did what he needed to do. And that's what you look at for that. Now, obviously, he's not an everyday player. But I go with Wheeler and him.
Yeah, you like him just because you met him and his old man at Hogan's in March.
What? No, I like him.
That wasn't even really
I forgot about that till you mentioned it. I like him because he performs.
That wasn't even really a memorable encounter. They weren't like over the top gracious towards us or anything.
Yeah, they were not fine.
But they were getting bombarded.
Well, after we went, yeah.
Yeah, they were getting bombarded.
Okay.
Yeah, he was another surprise. Another one. Good one there, Ant, because he just didn't play enough, like Christopher Sanchez. But yeah, it was a good one.
And by the way, it's not like Castellanos doesn't deserve it. I personally refuse to give it to him.
Yeah, doesn't he rub you guys the wrong way?
He's so rude to reporters, and he's nice to like the young female reporters. Mm-hmm. But then anytime an older person goes up to him, he's I don't really care for it. But
he gives me the X.
Just be nice to people. It's very easy.
Do you guys don't feel that same way?
I know. I hear what you're saying. I just he left it all on the field.
Sure.
You know what I mean? He left it on the field.
You can separate that out, that he doesn't seem like the greatest person. Then, yeah, I can appreciate his baseball abilities, but
you also can't
I'm just here to play baseball.
Yeah.
I think he's different. He does have that perception, and I see what you mean, but I think he's different than that. Like if you,
I'd love to just talk to him outside, like on the street, and see what kind of guy I got.
Yeah, I think
what? For whatever it's worth, I just love the connection with him and Liam. You know what I mean?
How do you think he'd be at an autograph signing, Dad?
I think he would be phenomenal.
Ooh, okay. Do you?
I think he would be. Yeah, I think he would.
He is a different person. Yeah, he's a different person. I think it's a job to him when he has to answer the questions, and let's face it, a lot of the questions that he gets asked are stupid questions. So
everyone's going to answer them.
Everybody gets asked.
So just answer the questions. Just answer them.
I know, but he's just trying to be funny. I think he's trying to be funny with like when he said it. Well, how did you guys lose to the Mets? Well, they scored more runs than us. Well, it's like
maybe it's his delivery. Then I mean, I get the sarcasm. Trust me, I do. But like maybe it's just the way he delivers it. Just
hello, Mr. Obvious.
Right. Yeah, well, it could be. I mean, because he does have that. Standoffish, outside exterior, I think that,
And his face, his facial expressions are just like, please get away from me and stop asking me questions.
Right. Yeah, because I mean, I think maybe he's been wronged in the past, by.
Well, I mean, he has that happened.
Right. So I mean that could have part of the thing. But like I said, I do think he has a softer side, to him, that he may or may not want to leave out into the public there in that situation. But yeah, no, I do see what you're talking about though in other aspects of it though. So
all right, did we leave anything out tonight? Did we?
Yeah, well, we need to get your take of the Eagles.
My take. So far, I'm extremely disappointed in the season. I thought the new offensive coordinator was going to be Mr. Excitement. I thought there was going to be a whole lot more offense, even with AJ getting hurt and then losing Devontae as well. I just don't know the connection between Nick, and I hate to keep pounding Nick because I feel like he got his ball squashed tonight.
That's already been done.
I think you took care of him. I just don't know the relationship between coach and quarterback, and I think that is extremely important. And I just don't see the continuity between the two. This kind of reminds me a lot of, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, Doug Peterson and Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
So I just, if they can put all their, attitude and egos and, all their craziness aside and just play football, I want the old Jalen Hurts back. This team needs the old Jalen Hurts back. And until you get that back, I just don't know that you're going to blow anybody out.
Is that player still in there?
That's a great question. I don't know. You always hear these, these comments, and we as fans, can only, listen to the media so much. But it just sounds like once these players get paid, they become a different person. And if that happened again here in Philadelphia, man, I don't know. I don't know. I just it's scary to think. I mean, they've got some great weapons on offense. I mean, how does Saquon Barkley not run for over 100 yards every week?
Right. 100
yards consistently. 100 yards, not breaking one for 50 or 60, and then you don't see him for another hour. I just, the inconsistency on this team is just driving me crazy, John.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Well, we heard it from a reporter this week, right? When we were here in the store, that the reporter was asked the question, if the Eagles lost to the Browns, would Sirianni be fired? And he said no, probably Hurts would be benched. So, that's speaking of how the Eagles are also seeing Jalen Hurts as well. If that's the case, because of all the turnovers, obviously.
Well, you stop, and I didn't mean to cut you off, you stop and think why they traded for Kenny Pickett,
right? The
former number one pick, a decent starting quarterback for the Steelers, who just he too didn't get along with his head coach.
Yeah.
So, it seems to be the theme going around.
If I don't know, if he doesn't get moving this next game and you're in the third quarter or something, maybe Kenny Pickett gets to come out and maybe that'll scare him a little bit because he needs a little bit of that.
How come that tactic can work in football, but it can't work in baseball?
It's a one week game type of thing. But Lauren, you would get a kick out of this one too. Your dad and I had conversations going on, and during our in the chat, and there wasn't one from one of us. There was actually talks about going to Kansas City and trading for number 11.
Stop.
I didn't brainstorm that one.
No, I know. I said it didn't come from the two of us, but going out to Kansas City and trading for number 11.
That would be like trying to bring back Chip Kelly as the coach.
Well, they keep talking about bringing back Doug Peterson. That's all I hear.
All right, I'll take that one.
So it's not working. Jacksonville,
We
bring
had
back Doug Peterson.
had to research. Chip Kelly's name even came up last week. We
Yeah.
had to research where he was even at. And we find out he's the offensive coordinator at Ohio State.
Yeah.
And they're playing miserably. Miserably.
That makes sense.
I don't even want any parts to do with Dougie P. He's showed he's not a good coach. You know, he got us our Super Bowl, but you know, which hey, great, thank you, but he's not a coach for the NFL. Trevor Lawrence is, you know, he's ruined Trevor Lawrence if Trevor Lawrence even had a career. You know, he's going backwards from, you know, his college years. So, but
all right, well, I think we covered all the bases, no pun intended.
yes, it's nice having all the teams to talk about.
Yeah. I think we officially can extend the show to an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my growling stomach is eager.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Guys, great show.
Yes.
We're back at it again next week. Set your clocks.
Yep, talking about a Saquon Barkley victory over the Giants, going back to playing him.
And if you're looking for a Halloween candy, CVS already has their buy one get one free bags available.
Oh wow!
Nice.
So, I was snooping around CVS today, and I just stumbled across. I'm like, wow, when is Halloween? I'm
Right.
like, buy one get one free.
Target's got your Christmas candy if you want to look that forward. They're ready.
Wow.
Ready to get that.
Jeez. Wow.
Guys, great show.
Yes.
Thank you. On that note, we will say our good nights and thank all of our listeners and participants tonight.
Yep.
It was awesome. It was awesome to have all you guys and your input. And set your clocks. We'll do it again next Wednesday night at 6:30.
Yep. And Jen and I would like to thank everybody for helping her get to her goal for the Eagles Autism Bike Ride.
Nice.
So
Very nice.
So yeah, thanks for everybody who contributed to that. That was
Good.
Very
Good.
So
That's still open too, right?
it is till tonight. Till they're doubling it up the thing. So she's
Good
got
job.
her. Yeah, she got her goal already accomplished, and she's raised I think it's like $150 more right at the moment.
Nice.
So
Good job.
So going to a good cause there at the
Yep.
Eagles Autism.
She got her heart in the right place.
Oh yeah.
Good
Yep.
job.
So great job. Thanks.
All right. Have a great night, guys.
See you later.
See you, everybody.